Push it fine.
We're caught in a trap.
Cold Rain on Lower Broadway, 1954, and the neon on Tootsie's is humming like a beehive. Pull up a chair, folks. We're stepping into the Ryman on Saturday night, October 2nd, 1954, when a nervous 19-year-old from Memphis walked onto the Grand Ole Opry and tried to bend country music in a brand new direction. Now picture that old Mother Church. The wooden pews creak, stained glass throws cinnamon and blue across the balcony. Backstage, you've got fiddles warming up, steel guitars catching a tune, and right in the middle of it all stands Elvis Presley with Scotty Moore and Bill Black. Sun Records had one hot single in the wild, That's All Right, backed with Blue Moon of Kentucky, and Sam Phillips had hustled this shot in Nashville. It's the Opry, y'all, the big leagues, live on WSM. Elvis is slotted on the 10:15 segment, the one Hank Snow hosts. He's got the pink jacket, the sideburns that still look more Humes high than Hollywood, and the band is tuned tight. Scotty's finger-picking like a sewing machine, Bill slapping that doghouse bass till it pops. When they get the cue, they step into the lights. Some accounts say Hank Snow fumbles the name and simply calls him a young man from Memphis. Either way, the room is polite, curious, and not quite sure what's about to happen. They kick into Blue Moon of Kentucky, but it ain't Bill Monroe's waltz anymore. It's been set on blocks and souped up to a hard-charging 4/4, the kind of rhythm that makes a church pew feel like a dance floor. Elvis leans into the mic, hips jittered by equal parts nerves and backbeat, and for 2 minutes the Ryman gets a taste of rockabilly before the words even settled. In the balcony, a few teenagers lean forward. On the main floor, some old hands lean back. When the last slap of Bill's bass fades, the applause comes. Respectful, not roaring. Nashville's seen boundary pushers before. Ernest Tubb plugging in was scandal enough a decade earlier. But this is different. Drums are still taboo on that stage. A hillbilly waltz turned into a rhythm workout is a bridge too far for some of the faithful. Elvis steps off, heart pounding. Not quite sure if he lit a fuse or blew a fuse. Now here's where it gets tricky, and we'll shoot straight. Stories from that night don't all agree. The famous line, Opry manager Jim Denny telling Elvis to go back to driving a truck, that's part of the legend. What's documented is that Denny told Sam Phillips the kid wasn't bad, but didn't fit what the Opry did. Either way, the message landed cold. Elvis, by several recollections, walked out of the Ryman feeling like he'd swung at the fattest pitch he'd ever seen and fouled it straight back. But the night wasn't over. After the Opry, just past midnight, the trio hustled around the corner to Ernest Tubbs' record shop for the Midnight Jamboree broadcast. Smaller room, friendlier crowd, and the music sat better. Memphis electricity tends to like tighter quarters. Then it was back in the car for that long drive home up Highway 70, headlights cutting the darkness, 3 boys chewing on a big lesson. Not every door opens just because you knock in rhythm. 2 weeks later, October 16, 1954, another door did open, down in Shreveport. The Louisiana Hayride welcomed Elvis with open arms and a hot mic. That show liked barn burners and boundary pushers. It let the backbeat breathe. The crowd lit up. The booking folks took notice. And by November 6th, Elvis and the boys had inked a 1-year deal, 52 Saturday nights, union scale pay that would rise as his draw exploded. The Hayride became the launch ramp that the Opry, for one night at least, refused to be. So what do we make of October 2nd at the Ryman? It wasn't a disaster in the falling down sense. Nobody booed him off. But it sure wasn't a home run, and that mattered to a kid still working out how to carry that voice, those hips, and that fearlessness into a room built on tradition. You can feel the tension in that moment. Monroe's bluegrass masterpiece, reimagined by a Memphis teenager who'd been soaking up gospel, country, and Beale Street rhythm. In one song, the future bumped shoulders with the past, and the past said, "Son, mind the aisle." Here's the kicker, though. Bill Monroe himself came around on that Sun cut, famously tipping his hat to Elvis's version. Blue Moon kept rising. For Monroe, for Elvis, for everybody who learned that a good song can stand a few different coats of paint. And the Opry? It learned too, over time, how to stretch without snapping. But on that particular Saturday night, the house just wasn't ready for the voltage Elvis brought. Legacy lives funny. The Opry appearance is a tiny stitch in the quilt of Presley's story, but it's a bright one. It sent him to the Hayride, which sent him to America. By the time he came back to Nashville in later years, whole bands were playing drums on that stage, and the line between country and rock was a handshake, not a fist fight. That awkward minute at the Ryman became part cautionary tale, part origin myth, a reminder that sometimes the big no puts you right in the path of a bigger yes. So if you've ever stood in a hallway with your guitar case rattling in your hand, listening to a crowd that didn't quite get it, take heart. Elvis had that night too. October 2nd, 1954, one song, polite applause, a chilly verdict. 2 weeks later, the rocket lit. And the rest, friends, is American music.
Lonely time goes by so slowly.